Welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining our webinar, jointly hosted by Ensan HR Technologies and Splash BI, Ensan being our specialist HCM partner within the Middle East. We're going to talk to you about seamlessly accessing and extracting your Oracle Fusion HCM data. We're going to reveal a couple of our secret formulas to our solutions. Those of you that have just joined, my name is Graham Spicer. I am the country head for Splash BI, looking after Middle East as well as other areas. And as you can see from the opening slide on the screen, I'm joined by my two colleagues, Krishna and Rajat. And Krishna will be talking to you about SQL Connect and giving you a demonstration of the same. And Rajat will be talking to you about Splash OC, which is our Oracle Cloud Connector and Data Pipeline. Moving on swiftly, as we're now a little bit short of time, and I'll go through this very quickly. So there's the agenda. As I've already mentioned, a little bit of an intro from me, SQL Connect solution overview from Krishna, and the Splash OC overview from Rajat. Q&A, you'll see there's a Q&A tab on your screen, so please feel free to post questions at any point in time. Don't necessarily wait until the end, but we will have a Q&A session at the end as well. I'm going to start off with a poll question. If we could post the first poll, let's get that started. So what is your key interest in joining us today? Are you looking to establish self-service reporting? Are you looking to easily develop your own reports? Or are you looking to extract all of your data from Oracle Cloud? Or is it all of those or any combination of those? I'll wait while people are still voting before letting you know what the results are. So at the moment, we're looking at that everybody that has joined wants to be able to easily develop their own reports, that 70+% are looking to be able to extract all of their data from Oracle, and 40-odd% are looking to establish a self-service reporting platform. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on swiftly. So not going to spend too much time talking about this slide so as we can catch up on time, but why are we here today? We're here to show you how we aim to make your users' life easier, to enable them to make quicker decision making based on actual data, all database information and database decisions. We believe there are two elements involved in enabling this. The first one is self-service reporting and analytics by business users, allowing them to do their own thing, to work with the data the way they need to work with it, and IT-based complex querying and data pipeline. We'll show you both of those. And the way we achieve it is by bringing together ad hoc transactional reporting, storyboarding, all of the month-end, year-end reporting that you need to do, workforce analysis, Salesforce analysis, everything like that. And you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, at the center of all of the business functions, we have Splash BI as a BI platform. Briefly telling you about Splash BI. Founded 21 years ago, I do apologize, thought we'd remove that. Founded 21 years ago, locations in the US, UK and India, and we have partners all over the globe, and Ensan and Square One are our major partners in the Middle East. 400 plus customers globally, 400 employees, and we work across every industry. Splash BI is a BI platform, exactly the same as the platforms that you get like Power BI, Tableau, etc. The biggest difference is that we have pre-built solutions within the platform. And the two that we're going to concentrate on today are Splash OC and SQL Connect. The recording will be made available, as will the slide deck. So, everything that you're seeing here, we can give you more information on later if it's required. Before we move on to Krishna talking about SQL Connect, we have an additional poll question for you. So, data complexity. Which do you think is the hardest part of running a data team? Data complexity and shifting requirements, coordination, lack of quality data lineage, and data silos across disparate systems. Let's look at the answers. So 100% of people believe data complexity and shifting requirements is the most difficult part. We have 85% have voted for lack of quality data lineage. More than almost 60% voted for data silos across disparate systems, and 42% coordination. And pretty much the sort of thing that we see whenever we ask in these questions. They're all really important. So let's move on. And I would now like to hand over to my colleague, Krishna. So Krishna, if you would like to share your screen.
Thank you, Graham. Let me share my screen and we will get started. All right. Hi, everyone. Greetings. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Very excited to be here today. I am KP. I'm a solutions architect working for Splash BI from our headquarters in Atlanta. In my typical workday, I spend 80% of my time talking to business leaders from around the world, brainstorming about different data products and improvement areas around product and services that help customers accelerate Oracle Fusion adoption. SQL Connect, as you see in this screen, SQL Connect happens to be one of our products that I get asked most of the time. This product, SQL Connect, is in short a SQL IDE for Oracle Fusion Cloud. But why a SQL IDE for Oracle Fusion Cloud is important? Well, let's talk about a scenario where you are part of the data team. In a business environment, users request information from your team. The requested data ranges from different HR modules like HR, payroll, could be benefits, could be other subject areas like absence, time entry, what have you. Sometimes they need to even reconcile data which goes from module to module, like across module, payroll to GL, things like that. In traditional way, if you want to query the data in order to access the data, since in Oracle Fusion Cloud, there is no way you can access the data directly from the database, you have to use a BI publisher data model, as you see in my screen. So if you are using a BI publisher data model, here is how the flow goes. So you have to click on the data model, click on the SQL query, and that will present you with a text area in the screen, as you see here. You select the data source on top, and then you enter your query. And that small window that you see, it doesn't provide any code completion assistance. So if the query gets complex, for example, you have multiple subqueries running inside window functions, things like that, it gets little hard to write the query, as well as if you are changing the query a little bit. So after that, you get an output of like 200 rows which is basically XML format, not CSV, not Excel. So it's about 15 clicks and you get a query output right here. If you have another question, if you're writing another query, you have to go through the whole process once again. In SQL Connect, we are able to do everything in one shot. So as you see in this screen, and we are going to show you the software also. So you enter the query in the editor, click on this run button or click on, just press Control Enter, and immediately the output comes in real time. You can also export to CSV and Excel. And there are various other features that also we have. But just by doing that, we are able to save a lot of time, about 60%, sometime more, depending on the query complexity, depending on how you are using the software. So what else do we have in SQL Connect? Other features. Of course, anytime you are running a query that runs against the Oracle Fusion Cloud in real time, you can create multiple connections like you have created in SQL Developer or Toad. One connection can go to your prod instance. One connection can go to dev, test, or any other instance that you have. And these are instance means these are Oracle Cloud Pods. You can use single sign-on. Single sign-on when you're logging into Oracle Fusion Cloud. If you have single sign-on enabled, you can use the same in SQL Connect. And of course, export to CSV and Excel. We also have IntelliSense, which assists you with the code completion. If you need a column name, you just put on dot and immediately SQL Connect shows you the available metadata, the table names, the column names, all of that. You can browse database objects through the software. And also we have, this is a very unique feature that we have advanced table level security where you can block some table access to a particular group of users. You can also enable the table access to another group of users. So that said, let's see SQL Connect in action. If you have any question, please let us know. You can put your question in the query window, question and answer. All right. So I am at the Splash BI screen, the Splash BI website. And if you want to go to SQL Connect, you go to Solutions for Oracle, and here you will find SQL Connect, Oracle Cloud Query Tool. So once you go there, if you go to the downloads, it will present you with two options. One is download for Windows, one is download for Mac. Now, depending on what kind of system you're using, you can download it and you can try it for 15 days. So when you download the software, it will show you the software like this. This is the icon, SQL Connect. All you have to do is just open it. You can sign up in this screen, in the subsequent screen. So click on sign up and it will sign you up. It will create the username as your email address that you're entering and also the password. It will send you the password. So once you're in the system, this is how you will see on the left side, all of the connections, existing connections will appear. If you need to create a connection, you can go click on this plus icon. Just give some name like dev, test, any other pod name. Enter the username, password, and the Oracle Cloud URL that you are using. In case of single sign-on, all you have to do is put the connection name and put the URL. Now, once you put the URL over here, click on create connection, the system will redirect you to your identity provider. Providers like Okta, if you have Microsoft Azure, or if you have any multi-factor authentication in place, the single sign-on will take care of that. So once the user is validated, your control comes back to this window. Any connections that you create on the left side, those show up right here for you to easily navigate between one environment to another environment. For example, I'm connecting to Pod. prod. You can also change the connection from one environment to another one. It's that easy. So I select one environment, go here. You can select the query, click on this run icon, or just press Control Enter to execute. So immediately, SQL Connect shows you with the output right here. So I'm selecting another query, and all I have to do is just click on the query and press Control Enter. System executes the query in real time against Oracle Fusion and gets me the data. All right, so here is the query. Now, if I want to export it to CSV, Excel, or HDL, HDL is the pipe delimited format. So I can do that if I want to export it. If I want to view the SQL, what is being executed against the pod, here is the SQL. And you will see here is the row num. By default, we apply for less than 100 rows. If you want maximum rows, all you have to do is enable that and execute the SQL. So this is a simple SQL that you see right here in the screen. It's just to select the different column names that we are pulling. Here we have in the from clause, you have all of the tables, and we have multiple tables. Now, depending on complexity, there could be many. And here we have a where clause, different where clauses. And these are all HR specific tables, as you can see. We are pulling assignment details, hire date, all of those information. So if I go to another query, for example, this is one query. The only difference in this query is in the where clause, I am using some bind variables as you use in many SQL queries. But what happens when you use bind variable? So let's execute this query and see what happens. See, this is the P effective date, and we also have some more bind variables. So if you execute this query, you see this window where you can easily, very easily, you can enter the values for all of those bind variables that we have. As I was showing, P effective date is a bind variable. The system automatically identifies the data type and presents you with a calendar icon where you can easily select the date and you can just click on OK and execute. If you need to enter any other values, you can do so right here. And one thing that I will show you that, see the person number. Although it says number, although Oracle shows it's as number, but this is basically a varchar2 column where person ID is a number. SQL Connect will automatically identify. It will make an educated decision based on the data type already has in Oracle, but you have the ability to change these data types as needed. So as you click on OK and execute, the same query gets executed and it brings the result. Now, often queries like this, if you are doing some kind of exploratory data analysis, you might have to scroll to the farthest corner of this and see what kind of data is there. All you have to do here, click here, single record view, and here you see all of the rows, means all of the columns in this window. All right. Another feature that I want to show you is the security. So here, let me choose a connection as I was showing. So once you change the spreadsheet or open a new spreadsheet, you have to choose a connection just like SQL Developer told. And it will show you which connection, if it is active or not. So now let's execute this SQL that I have. And I should be able to get the data because that is how we configured my user in Oracle Fusion. I have the correct roles to see the data. But what happens if I change the user, change the connection to another user who has limited access? For example, Lisa. She has limited access and she cannot see certain tables like per national identifiers, per persons. She cannot see these. So only thing I have to do right here in order to let her run this query is to disable those tables. And I do that in this way. See this PNI, national identifier number, date of birth. These are the things that she cannot see. So I go ahead and disable them. Any other 47? Okay. These two. And we have, see this join, which is pointing to that particular table. Now, if I execute this, we will be able to execute the SQL. Let's go to another user, see what happens if I go to another connection. All right. For this person, for this user, we have much more tables which are blocked access. So the way we do it is we can create custom rules for each of these kind of test cases. And in the custom rules, we can define what kind of table access will be provided. And we have a document which is available, which is really easy to configure, and you can use that anytime if you have any kind of test cases like that. Sometimes we have seen that in production environment where the data is not scrambled, usually people go for this kind of option to secure the data. Another option I want to show you is if you go to View, DB Browser, or you can just press on F4 as a shortcut. Go to DB Browser, and let's find out some Oracle Cloud tables. I'm selecting one user from here. And for example, per people. And if I press on Enter, it shows me all of the objects like views, procedures, packages, and also the tables. So usually the ones in orange, these are the views. And what you see here is the column names, the data types, who is the owner, and also this is the table name. So now if I go to view SQL, I will be able to see how this view was written. So this is a select clause, all of the columns. And here you have the joining condition, exactly how this view is built in Oracle Fusion. The one in yellow, these are the packages. And you can actually see what kind of procedures are there. The one in purple, these are the tables. And similarly, these are the column names, these are the data types. If you have any indexes, if you have any constraints, which are very useful for you when you are writing a SQL. So these will help you. And SQL Connect, with these kind of features and code completion, we always try to save you as much as possible time with the little things that matter when you are writing SQL. So over to you, Graham, and we will get started with Splash OC. If you want to know more about SQL Connect, go to our website. Also, reach out to us if you have any kind of question. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, KP. Ashna, could you please make Rajat the presenter, please? Okay, all yours.
Thanks, Graham. I hope you're able to see my desktop as well. Yep. Thanks, Graham and Krishna. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in today. I'm Rajat Sharma, and I head the overall delivery and implementation of Splash and its solutions. Right. So you've seen how easily you can query your Fusion database using the SQL Connect. And we will now see what are the challenges around extraction of your Fusion data and how easily you can overcome those. So from the aspect of what we are saying, the adoption of Oracle Fusion is massive. Lots of customers are now adopting or embarking their transformation journey, and they're leveraging the SaaS capability. And the reason is simple: to be able to maximize the efficiency with less maintenance. So, as the organizations are moving to SaaS-based applications like Fusion, enterprises struggle with utilizing the data from cloud-native ERP as well as SaaS systems. Right. So over the last few months, our Oracle Fusion Cloud application customers, they've shed significant light on this challenge around extracting the right data sets and getting rid of the data silos for insights, reportings, and data-driven decisions, because these are the holy grails of all the modern data-driven enterprises. According to IDC, and as you can see the numbers within the screen, around 43% of overall enterprise data remains unused. And that's a very typical data distribution, right? But how do we overcome those challenges? How do we remove those data silos and then bring the data in a single report where the data is coming in from multiple sources? So what are our objectives, right? With the increased data generation, from the aspect of the data getting generated massively, especially from the point of view of the adoption of Fusion. So, business users as well as customers, they've invested heavily in the tools and technologies to democratize these data streams across the enterprise. And the objective is easy accessibility for the business users to capitalize on data and insights in their decision-making cycles at scale and pace. From customers' perspective, especially when you've been Oracle Powerhouse, you are used to access the data in your fingertips because it's readily available in your premises, right? But now it is not the case anymore with Oracle Fusion. And then getting rid of those data silos, extracting the data, they become key points for any users to be able to do ad hoc analysis on their data. And then at the same time, especially when the data is HR data and payroll data, you want to ensure that the right set of the security parameters are in place so that the users who have access to whatever data they can see in the Fusion, they should be able to see similar data while they're doing their reporting or while they're doing their analysis without having to invest heavily in terms of writing code to be able to secure that particular set of the data. And then you should have the ability to be able to reuse your existing skills and integrate with the existing data centricity effort as well. Now let's go to a poll question. Over to you, Graham. If you can publish this, please. Right. So what we want to understand is how are you currently extracting the data from your Oracle Cloud applications? Is it via the HCM extracts, you've written your own custom OTBI reports, or you have your own custom inbuilt solution? I'll give a few more seconds before I move on.
I can see the voting, Rajat. So,
sure.
We seem to be getting a lot of echo from somewhere. So at the moment, people that are voting are saying both HCM extracts are currently being used and a custom inbuilt solution is being used. Nobody seems to be using OTBI to Excel. Back to you, Rajat.
Thanks, Graham. Right. So what are the typical challenges that we have seen from our different customers in terms of extracting the data from Oracle Fusion Cloud applications? So let's talk about those. And as I've mentioned in my previous slides as well, the customers who want access to their data for them to be able to do their own analysis, do self-service reporting. That's what the customers want to do. But like all the SaaS systems, Oracle Fusion Cloud applications architecture and technology, they are complex, although they are highly effective in the intended use cases. But for you to be able to access the underlying complex data model with thousands of the tables, it holds the organizations back from using the data more and getting better value from those different systems. Right? So business teams basically grapple with questions like which data sets to download, how do I handle the enormous number of the objects, and can I quickly access the data in my fingertips where the data is sitting on my premises. Right, so how can I basically achieve that? And then users tend to write the HCM extracts. They try to build in their own custom inbuilt solutions. But then the challenge is in terms of what do I do when there is an incremental transactions that are being uploaded, when the new employees join in the organizations, how do I extract their set of the data? Or let's say if any new records have been updated or any records have been updated for any of my employees, how do I extract only those incremental changes? Because what I want to also ensure is that the load in my Fusion pod is less, right? Especially during the month end as well as the quarter end periods. So these are the different key challenges, as you can see in the screen. No database access for the data extraction, the data silos across systems and tools in a very hybrid environment, wherein the human resource cost of extracting the data through the Excel or through CSV and then manipulating is huge. And then there is performance issues with flex field columns. So if you've done any customizations, if you've got data stored in your flex fields, how do I basically extract that particular data? And then keeping up with those incremental changes as well. So how you can save time as well as effort on data extraction as well as reporting with a data pipeline. First and foremost, the data extraction process on the data pipeline should be based on a seamless, easy-to-use interface so that the users no longer require to write thousands of lines of code to be able to address the data needs. And what this basically means is that power users no longer need to rely excessively on either IT or the data engineering teams for every data extraction request, right? And these requests could be enormous in number. So today you are asking for the details of certain employees, with their absence records, or let's say you want, now you've got another request for which you want to basically extract the information of these employees who have left the organization. So you need not to go back to your IT and data engineering teams just to be able to extract that particular information out of it. So you should be basically able to log into the system where a no-code platform is available with reduced dependency on the IT and data engineering teams, and then you should be able to do your own ad hoc analysis very quickly. And then, because of the nature of the data, authorized users should only be able to access and connect to those traditional database tools like SQL Developer, etc., and then develop their own ad hoc SQLs as and when they're required. Right? So the security, again, comes the important aspect of overall extracting your data and bringing it into your data warehouse or into your own premises. Users then should also be able to run their analysis directly on that particular replicated database, ensuring that the security is also being adhered to whatever is being set within the Fusion pod, and thereby overcoming the speed and performance issues that they face in the SaaS environment. They should be basically able to quickly go into the system, extract the information, and then further do their own ad hoc analysis. And then, as well as these, the other important points is that you should have the complete flexibility in the data storage. You should have complete control over your replicated database, because whatever data sits in your Fusion pod belongs to you as a user, and you should be basically able to extract it without having to go to Oracle or to your IT teams to be able to get that particular information. So, but now you have a help at the hand, which is Splash OC Data Pipeline, which can basically help the enterprises as well as organizations who struggle to be able to extract that particular data into their data warehouse. And how does Splash OC delivers that? So Splash OC Data Pipeline, it is built ground up to intuitively solve your data extraction challenges on the road to data centricity. With easy to use drag and drop interface, Splash OC not only allows you to connect real time against your Fusion pod, but it also allows you to do table to table replications in your data warehouse as well very quickly. So you not only now have access to your pre-built real-time reports, wherein you could do your quick analysis, run those reports against real time. But let's say if you now want to deep dive to do historical analysis to understand certain situations, or if you want to run your year-end report, which would basically bring in massive data into your report, you can then make use of those data pipelines as well. And Splash OC also ensures whether you are using a table-to-table replication from data pipeline perspective or you are running your reports real time, your security is always adhered to, right? As and when you log in, as and when, based upon the roles that you log in, you only see the data that you have access to. What are the problems that Splash OC solves? All those problems that we've been talking about, through the presentation. So it gives you the access to all of your Oracle Cloud Apps data, including multiple subject areas. So if you want to do a quick ad hoc analysis from your HR to payroll to finance data, you can, and you are able to basically quickly do that as well. You can do your ad hoc analysis as well as legacy historical reporting as well. So you can basically create a single report. Let's say if you are in your journey where your data is still sitting in your EBS system, and then you are in your journey to Fusion Pod, but you still want to build a single report where the data is coming from these two data sources, and at the same time, your security in EBS or in Fusion is also being adhered to, is adhered to as well. So you will be able to build a single report out of these two different systems or multiple systems as well. And then at the same time, you should also be able to do your downstream integration with the other applications like payroll, finance, HR, etc. So you bring in your data from Fusion Pod, you bring in your data from EBS, and then you bring in the data from other data sources as well, and then do the downstream integration. What is important, keeping in mind the nature of the data, is security. You want to ensure that as and when you are logging in or you are accessing your data, Splash OC will ensure that the security is being adhered to and make the data available in the reports based upon the security that you have. And what this results in is ROI. ROI in terms of accessing your data, ROI in terms of the pre-built report that comes out of the box, which saves massive development time for the business users. And how do we achieve it? So this is the overall architecture diagram of Splash OC. So as you can see, and if I read this diagram from left to right, so on the left-hand side, I am connected, or I have multiple data sources like Oracle Fusion, Workday, etc. Now, through Splash BI as a platform, I can directly connect to my Fusion and extract or bring the real-time reports and see the output in terms of my dashboards, my KPIs, as well as my reports. At the same time, the platform also allows you to extract the data via the data pipeline into the data warehouse of my choice. So I could basically extract the data into an Oracle database, but let's say if I want to use Microsoft SQL Server, I could basically do that as well, or even do the downstream integration with Snowflake. So I have these multiple options wherein the data gets stored into any of these data sources based upon my business needs. And then once the data is downloaded into the data warehouse, I can then connect the data warehouse to external tools as well, such as Power BI, Tableau, etc. Or I could connect it directly within Splash BI and then see the output in terms of those different KPIs as well as reports, or directly log in through Excel and access those different data points as well, if I would like to. So this is the overall architecture diagram. And what are the benefits of Splash OC data pipe? Well, all those challenges that we've been discussing throughout the presentation, they are basically resolved using the Splash OC data pipeline. So you have the ability to be able to fully download your entire data. You also have the ability to be able to incrementally download those data points as well, based upon the modules, based upon the objects that you have access to. So without having to code, you can ensure that via the Splash OC data pipeline, that if there have been any incremental changes in the Fusion Pod, only those changes get extracted and downloaded into your data warehouse. And mind you, this is a very important aspect, because you don't want to, every time there are changes that are being made in any objects or any tables, you don't want to basically download completely that particular object. You only want to download the updates that have been made or the incremental changes that have been done on those different tables. You also, with Splash OC data pipeline, get the ability to be able to exclude the columns in the tables as well. So if it contains any sensitive information, like let's say you do not want to extract the salaries or the mobile numbers of your employees, you could basically exclude those as well. At the same time, if you've done massive customizations in terms of your flex fields, you could basically synchronize those as well within the data warehouse. And Splash OC is intelligent enough to auto-detect new columns. So let's say, for example, if tomorrow your Fusion pod gets upgraded and Oracle has decided to change certain tables, add new columns, Splash OC will be able to detect that as well and ensure that whatever changes have been made in your Fusion pod, they are available and streamlined in your Splash OC data pipeline as well. So all those different changes in terms of the incremental data, in terms of full download, will also be catered to or via the Splash OC data pipeline. And then you will have the ability to be able to schedule those incremental downloads based upon your request. So you could schedule it to be able to run it on nightly basis, or you could run these on demands as well, based upon, again, your feasibility. So you will have all those different options to be able to do that. And then the developers will have full access to the Oracle Fusion data. And this is what is basically important as well from what we have seen with a lot of our customers. So, and then the ability to be able to do the data mashups, do the cross-application reporting, to be able to do the cross-subject area reporting as well. Now, there are multiple tools that Oracle already provides for you to be able to do that, but then again, they're not easy to use, right? And they have their own limitations as well. So, but as you can see within the diagram here, that Splash OC as well as Splash BI basically fits in the gaps. It will complement your already existing tools like OTBI, BI Publisher, as well as Analytics Cloud, and give you the ability to be able to do the transactional reporting, as well as give you the access to be able to see those important KPIs as well. Not only this, Splash OC also allows you to be able to drill down from macro to micro level transactions as well. So let's say if you have access to be able to see the overall headcount of your organization, and then you want to drill down to be able to see how many employees left, what are the name of those different employees who have left the organization, what were the different departments, you will be basically able to drill that to that particular point of the data as well. Now let's quickly talk about a case study with one of our customers, and their problem was that they basically needed frequent corporate reports, for the decision making, but because they had 500 business users who needed access to the data to be able to build these corporate reports, it was becoming challenging as well. So imagine 500 business users, and each business user coming in with its 3 or 4 requests. That was an overhead on their IT as well as data engineering team. And giving them access to their entire Oracle OTBI production environment could basically end up resulting in severe latency as well as system performance issues as well. So they solved this problem with Splash OC. So not only the users had access to be able to run those reports real time, but they were also able to replicate their production data and run reports against that replicated environment as well. And these reportings operated at high speed and had 0 performance issues as well. Now, the result was that the business users got access to the data that they wanted without having to compromise on the security as well as without having to compromise on the performance. And the energy company's 500 plus users now make better, more insightful decisions as well. And this is another customer use case architecture diagram as well, wherein, let me just quickly go back, wherein they had access to these multiple systems. So they had access to Oracle Fusion, but at the same time, some of their business units were still on Oracle Business Suite, as well as they were using ACPEC as well. And for them to be able to now build a single report wherein the data was coming from these multiple data sources, became easy when Splash OC as well as Splash BI came into the picture, because they were then, instead of having to run their individual reports against multiple systems, they were then able to now produce a single report where the data was coming through these different systems in a single report, and ensuring that the security was always being adhered to as well. And they were able to see these outputs directly in an Excel, PDF, as well as in an HTML output format.
Yeah, we have a question before we start the poll.
Sure.
Are you saying then that with Splash OC, you can actually use produce reports that are both real time, and you can also use the data pipeline to do reporting outside of Splash BI in other platforms like Power BI and Tableau, and use it to replicate your data into much larger data lakes and data warehouses.
Yes, that's correct, Graham. Excellent question. So with Splash OC, it will solve your multiple problems or challenges. You can do your real-time reporting. You can also replicate the data into your own data lake as well as data warehouse, and then do the historical reporting on top of it.
Okay, lovely. So the poll question is up. Would you like to be able to extract your data from Oracle Cloud applications? And so far we have 100% yes. No maybes, no nos. So let's move on, please, Rajat.
Brilliant. So since everyone wants to extract the data into their data warehouse, what are the things that they should consider or they must consider? And these are the different points that one must consider before choosing the solution that they would want to go after to be able to extract the data. Right? Will the chosen technology be able to extract the data from Fusion Cloud applications across multiple modules? So not only just HCM, but will I be able to extract the data from ERP as well as HCM? Because I do not want to develop a system wherein it can only extract certain amount of the data only from certain modules within the Fusion. Now, the other point to consider is that how long will it take for me to be able to replicate the data? And what we have seen with our customers, it takes them months and months for them to be able to fully download the data. And when the data is fully downloaded, they're already 2 months behind their new productionized data as well, with new transactions as well as new details of the employees being entered into. So for them to be able to again, download that particular amount of the data becomes challenging as well. So, you need to ensure that how much time will it take for me to be able to fully download the data, but at the same time, I also want to ensure that my data is always up to date as well and doesn't lag behind. And then the third point is that, does the extraction process cause any performance issues on the Oracle Fusion Cloud instance? Because as the data is being extracted out of the system, there are transactions that are being entered within the Fusion pod as well. And then there are users who are running those reports as well against the Fusion pod. So I want to ensure that the extraction process does not cause the performance issues within my Fusion pod. And then what is the ROI? What is the cost and the internal resources that are required to maintain any custom data extraction pipeline? So if I built any custom solution or if I'm using HCM extracts, how much time are my users spending in terms of extracting the data and then manipulating it before I could use them to do my own ad hoc analysis as well? So I need to take care of ROI into account as well. And then what will be the impact on my data pipelines when the Oracle Fusion application pods upgrade? So will I be basically able to make those changes? Will I have to make those changes into the the HCM extract or the custom built-in solution? Or will the entire data full download or my incremental downloads will stop? So how do I manage basically those as well? So I need to make sure that I have a contingency plan in terms of those as well. Or is my custom inbuilt solution smart enough to be able to auto upgrade itself to extract the data even when the Oracle changes its architecture or introduces new columns, etc. I think these are the points that that you should consider, and I think that's it from my side. Back to you, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajat. Thank you. So we have a few questions. First of all, I have one for Krishna. Krishna, do we have customers that are using both SQL Connect and Splash OC? There seems to be different use for both. I assume we do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. So Splash OC is more targeted for the data engineers and the end users who are dealing with Oracle Fusion Cloud reporting day to day. But Splash SQL Connect, that is more geared towards the developers who are directly building the SQLs. So we have a lot of customers, and most of our customers use these two platforms significantly. But both are geared towards different type of audiences.
Lovely. So, and I guess that it would be possible to build a data extraction query with an SQL statement in SQL Connect, and then you could cut and paste that query in SQL out of SQL Connect and put it into a Splash OC report and start to develop a report that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is what our customers do also. They write the query in SQL Connect, confirm that there is no Cartesian joins or any joins are missing. If the columns are showing correct kind of formatting, and then they import the query into Splash OC.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, KP. Rajat, got a question for you. Splash OC, can it be on-premise or on cloud or both or either?
Both. So it could be on premise, it could be on your SaaS as well, or it could be on any of your public or private clouds as well.
Okay. And the second question for you, you did mention it, but just to clarify, so with the use of Splash OC as a connector, you can, and with Splash BI, and I guess using our Splash EBS connector, you can combine reports from cloud applications and e-business, where you can combine data into single reports.
Yes, that's correct, Graham. So with the Splash OC, Splash BI platform, you will have the ability to be able to combine the data into a single report when the data is coming from those multiple systems, as well as it will also ensure that the security of a user who is logged in to be able to execute the report is adhered to. So they only see the right set of the data that they have access to within their source systems.
Thank you very much. And one final question, which I will answer. Do we do proof of concepts or trials? Yes, we do both. We can set up a trial within 10 days normally and have you up and running. That trial can also be on premise, or it can also be on cloud. And the cloud can be private cloud, public cloud, wherever you want it to be. And the only thing we ask when we do a trial with a customer is that the customer specifies the criteria from the outset as to how they will measure the success or otherwise of the trial or proof of concept. And during that, we work with you. You get to experience how our support works, how our training works, everything like that. So yeah, we can do those as well. It doesn't look as if we've got any more questions. So just remains for me in the final 2 minutes to say thank you very much for joining us, for giving up your time. Hope you didn't miss lunch, those of you that are in Dubai and the Middle East, and you get to have your lunch break. And once again, thank you very much. We will be running more of these webinars in the series, so we hope to welcome you to more. If you have any further queries, you can see mine and Arshna's email addresses at the bottom of the screen here. But please look out for the recording and for future messages from us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.